Hey, welcome back to from our break. This is Michael Tanner with our favorite Karen Fiorillo, Doctor of Education, and that's just amazing to have a doctor in education. That means that you really love kids, right? Or you're true,
Yes, it does.
or you're just trying to get through to them like really, really hard. And
I told them I can give you a Band-Aid and I can give you a wipe. But other than that, you're going to need to go to the nurse. I'm not that kind of doctor.
I'm not that kind of doctor. I can give. Yes, I know some teachers. I can slug you right across the face.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
He used to come in with the cane. It's Catholic school, so you were
Oh
afraid.
yes, I recall like it was yesterday.
Yes, like it was like this yesterday, like when I was dreaming last night and slamming the desk with a cane, taking my Rubik's cube and slamming it against the wall for a billion pieces, and it's oh yeah, they would do that, and I would no doubt guess that they would smash a phone in a heartbeat. So if things have changed over the last 40 years or so,
They have.
I,
I even have a cell phone jail. They have to
no,
come in and they have to put the phone in the jail
I
till I
worked at
let it out.
so it's a funny story. I worked a job where with Dave Chappelle, right? He
Oh
was on
yeah.
stage.
Uh-huh.
Well, they have these little packets where we take their cell phone, and I was in charge of securing all the cell phones in the package.
Oh wow.
So you take their cell phone. So some people are almost violent about that, and they says you can't do that. And I was looking at the
Hmm.
cops like, mm-hmm, yeah, yeah, we can. Watch,
Wow.
it's like you can't do that. And like cops were going to put that guy to the ground. He says you
Hmm.
can't.
Look out.
Yeah, because they're very possessive of those cell phones, and that
Yeah.
and I'm worried about a cell phone addiction that starts at 3 years old and moves right on up. You deal with that every day in your classrooms, but I can't imagine what it'd be like if you had to, in a secure environment where cameras and everything are just part of being, right? So, excuse me. Anyway, so I was thinking about talking a little bit about cyberbullying and this attachment to our cell phones and things like that. How? Because to me, it's like, as I said before, I always grew up. Hey, they say anything that they want. They touch you, you know, My dad was in the Navy. He'd say bad words about that point, you know. So if they touch you as a guy, then you take care of yourself, you know. And but sticks and stones. The stuff that I was growing up with, sticks and stones. But bullets will really, really hurt you.
Hmm.
Names are just names. You know. How has that changed? Is that changed anywhere today?
Well, it's
Since
ironic that you said sticks and stones because my sixth graders just got finished watching a video that was called Sticks and Stones. And it was basically a reenactment of a girl who was being bullied by eighth graders. And she turned around and became the bully to basically fight back for herself. And she threatened to bring a gun to school. She ended up being pulled out of the school, taken into juvie. And there she stayed. And it's tough love. I tell the kids that it actually happened in Pennsylvania, and they have to write about it and they have to assume the role of one of the characters in the movie. And I think that allowing them to feel the emotions that might be happening with this girl. She was 12 when it happened. I mean, it wasn't like she was a high schooler or an adult. She made a bad choice and chose to go back at the bully. And what happens is the cyber bullies want you to fight back. You've seen it on social media, the trolls, they want you to fight back. It
yeah,
just fuels their fire.
yeah, but see that they don't understand. See, that's where I think that it's a little different. I can see a group of kids singling one kid out and tormenting that kid to death.
Well, they do a lot of targeting, yes.
So then to say, well, that's it. We're not. You got two choices where if they threaten my kid or they do, something like that. So I see it as part of the. It used to be if you started a fight, you could finish the fight, but now the kids start the fight and they get all the glory of winning, and then the other kids gets punished. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's going into social warriorism and you know social justice warrior, the woke thing, and that makes people very angry because they say there's no way to defend yourself against people that are basically impugning their honor or something like that, right? And we don't really, I don't know how much honor is really involved in the cyberbullying type of thing.
I really think it's more drama than anything. And people are tough. If they see a picture of something that they disagree with, or if they see a meme that they disagree with, all of a sudden it turns into an all-out war. Adults as well as children. And it's so unfair that they feel that that's a good way to handle the problem. And I always say to them, you know what? I'm going to model my behavior so you can see the correct behavior. My friends know absolutely no inappropriate language. No one is to have anything in their hand that looks like alcohol. No one is to be smoking. No one is to be inappropriate, or I'll get out of the picture. Like, my
Oh, so
friends are
you'll take
used
a
to it.
picture of them doing that or whatever? Okay. So
I won't be in it. I
that
refuse.
there's a song from They Might Be Giants, and I thought, um, it's I, but I can't be here with you and your racist friends. And if people would just be, it's very hard to be in that situation and then walk out of that room, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because then you're going to be ostracized. But I think that's part of it. And there was an old book called The Wave of how social organizations kind of worked. It was made into a movie. I don't know if you're aware of it, but also I read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, where they did these kind of social things. But now it's really amped up with instantaneous gratification from the bully, from the other people, from whatever they said, that type of thing, you know. And it used to be taken care of a different way. If you said something, you said something, you could trace it down to that one person and bring it right to their door.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of worried that there's no consequence for doing it except glory, except maybe some glory. That was really a
Mm-hmm.
mean flame,
What
but
we're finding is the kids are feeding off the dopamine that their body feels with the hormone being produced every time they get a like or a new friend request. Like, they feed off of that, and many of the kids, they can't communicate with each other. Like, face to face is hard. Face to teacher is hard. Parent to student is hard. Parent to child is hard because they're so used to texting. I've had, this is a funny story. I was proctoring a dance in the evening for my students at one of my schools. And I said to the one girl, I said, "Are you here by yourself?" She said, "Oh, no, I have a date." I said, "Where is he?" And she said, "He's over there." I said, "What's he doing over there?" "Oh, we're texting each other." I said, "No, no, no. You put that phone down. You go over there and let's go dance." So I got the two of them and I pulled them out and we started to do like Cotton Eye Joe or something silly like that. But anyway, I got them on the floor and I got them going. But they were very happy texting each other at a dance that they attended together.
what about having like risk games and things like that inside the school or like I remember in my high school we it was kind of brutal, but it's like they'd open the locker and we'd put bang, we got you, you know, or something like that. We would chase and hunt people and they would never know because it's just role playing, right? But there
Mm-hmm.
was, you know, different ways they'd open their book and, you know, oh my god, you know, that's they got, you know, but it's there's I think that band cannot be really taught outside the school, and I think a lot of things for social groups really need like at least for a social group to exist, you need five people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
four is there's always somebody out. There's always going to be somebody out. There's always a group that selects the one out. Five,
Mm-hmm.
three is a good number. Four is an unlucky number in Japan. Just just for this, what do you think about doing how do we do more interaction, more a lot of the programs have been cut, wrestling and other things, you know, that teaches guys specifically how to behave in a certain way and then girls to behave in a certain way too
Mm-hmm.
because
We have
that
we've been really fortunate. Every Monday we meet with the same group of students and it's called an advisory. And I have the same children every single Monday and we get together and we do activities that are given to us, pre-designed to us, that we can kind of take scenarios with the students and say, "Listen, what would you do in this case?" Or how would you respond to this situation? And it's been helpful because they know me really well. They open up and we've had some pretty frank conversations about a variety of things, from not being able to have self-control to how does it feel to be the new kid. Should you try to encourage others to come together? If the one person's sitting alone, what would you do? Like scenarios like that makes them have like a more affective side to school. It's not just academic,
okay.
and mostly everything we do is not academic during this advisory time.
So we're still so you still work on that type of thing, and like, I because I see a lot of times their school is just face forward, right? Or my most hated was, let's work in a group, and I was like, I'm going to do this by myself, and these guys are not going to do it,
Mhm.
and then they'll they'll get the same credit as if I worked my butt off, you
Well, the
know.
thing is, Mike, the change has come with technology. The kids can't work together in groups because they can't be in proximity. So what we'll do is we'll do a breakout, like a Zoom breakout, or we'll do
Okay.
a Microsoft Teams breakout session, and then they come back together again. So we figure out ways to work through the fact that they can't be near each other. We got real creative with that this year.
I've heard a lot of my friends that are sitting at home in technology, they're just coders, but they say, I go to work in my pajamas. I love this. I I turn my stuff in. I don't have this guy breathing over my neck. But in a way, they lose a lot of their other life because there's no stopping that machine. And I felt this because I worked for myself for a long time. I felt this before where it doesn't matter. We're just 72 hours, more and more pizza, more uh well, coffee now, but it used to be like soda, because yeah. So we do. So for health reasons and other reasons, I could see people working 3 4 days and then they get their work done and then they don't have to work for 2 weeks and then they
Mhm.
show up at these meetings what they think are useless because they've become useless to them.
Well, you alluded to that earlier when you had said that we're working more hours because the technology never shuts off, which is so true. But I really did have to pull myself back in and say I cannot be working 24/7, 365. Like I was so exhausted last year. I was burned out. The kids weren't coming to class. When they were coming, they were like lethargic, didn't want to be there. I had to have a game to entice them to come. I had to say, if you come, I will give you a this. Like I felt like it was constant baiting them. They weren't intrinsically motivated to show up to school during our virtual environment.
In Utah, there's like one study that said 80% of kids have not done any homework or have done any of that, even logged into their computer while COVID's been on, and that the parents
Right.
are not having them do the work. And that we're giving up on SATs for a lot of next year. There's a real knock-on effect as far as education, and as you know, I'm worried that the skills will decline because a lot of some people just are not going to be inclined to read a book. They're just not. They're just not that way. They're not built that
Mhm.
way. Um, I had encyclopedias and stuff that I didn't care about was in school as the reverse problem. I just read the encyclopedias and I had my great big book of Greek mythology. It's all color and everything.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I that was like when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, and I didn't like going to school with the Mormon kids. So that's why I went to Catholic school. Um, what do you think would be what do you think would be something for I have my kid at home and I'm am I overly concerned that they're not going to school right now and that they won't read books, and I'm really not a teacher because I never went to school for that, right? That
Well, they
that
shouldn't be expected to know how to do this. And we are very supportive of the parents. The at home learn, we have a separate, to give you the backstory. We have two academies. We have the Souderton Area Online Academy, SAOA, and then we have our in school regular daily regular grind. Two different curriculums when it comes to specials, but they have the same four big four. They have math, they have science, they have social studies, they have language arts. And then they have a different, like maybe one special, whether it be gym and health, or they might have a language, or they might have a general music or something like that, but they don't have all of the specials. Like my class is not offered to the students who are at home. So no one in the eighth grade class is having the opportunity to learn how to code because they are at home.
that
It's,
seems
I mean, I could get into a long talk about that, but as far as equity goes, they're not the same. And I almost feel sorry for the kids who are at home because they're not having the same experience as the students who are in the classroom. But going back to the parents, yes, the parents are in loco, they're in loco teacher at this point. It used to be that the teachers are in loco parentis. We're in place of the parents. Now it's the opposite. And these teachers who are thankful and hopeful that the parents are going to be engaging the students in a lot of cases, they don't know what to do. They're not trained to do this. And we can't expect them to do their full-time job at home and then also be there. Okay, Johnny, you didn't do question number 7. You can't turn that in yet. It's not realistic.
So yeah, and one of the school districts got in trouble because they had this open argument. They shouldn't have had it in public, but the parents were really mad at them because they took away their babysitters. And the now I that gets people in trouble, but in some ways I really feel that if you just substitute teach band and you're like, these kids didn't learn scales and they've been here for 3 months. They didn't do they
Mhm.
didn't do any of the things that they're supposed to be doing, and they've been here for 3 months or whatever. And you're like, I can't. I'd have to go back to the beginning. So what we're doing is the next couple days while the teacher's sick, we go back a couple days, and the teacher's like, well, I've got 76 band students or whatever, and you're like, doesn't mean that they can't break off in groups and learn scales or whatever that we're trying to do.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, I agree with you. I think the formative skills are vital. If they have the formative skills, they can build on them and grow. If they're not mastering the basics of addition, there's no way that we can expect the students to do multiplication and division. It's just like an if-then statement. If they have good formative skills, they're going to move on and be able to progress. But unfortunately, if they don't, they're going to be, like I said earlier, behind everybody else. And nobody wants to be behind. Everybody wants to be right on track. And we are testing this year. Our children are due to test next month in what we call our Pennsylvania State assessments, PSSAs, and a standardized test. And our kids will be taking them.
that's a great PSA, by the way. So, public anyway. So you guys are going to be aggressively testing. At one time in Utah, it was like the kids that were released from 8th grade is like they didn't learn anything. They did a really great job until they got to 8th grade, and they didn't. High schools are kind of a wasted period of time. And some people suggested, well, just kick them out of school at 16 and let them get a job, and or do just vocational stuff from that point on. And I says, well, we'll lose all our engineers, we'll lose all our teachers, we'll lose all because you don't know what you want to be when when the when your head just thinks, "Oh, he's so cute," or she's, or she's just the greatest. Yeah, bruh, look at this. I mean,
But you
there's
know what, Mike? The thing is, I'm in career number 2. I went to school for English. I was a copywriter. I worked in advertising and public relations for 5 years. I ran an office for accounting and finance professionals. And then I decided after I had TJ, our oldest, that I needed something where I could be home in the summer with him. So I went back to school for my teacher certification. And I thought, you know what, this is going to be perfect. And here I am, I guess 25 years, including my 3 years of Catholic school. I've been teaching for 25 years. And
I,
I've never turned back and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't stay in advertising and public relations.
I'm going to ask maybe a politically charged question, but you're right in the gun sight. And I was wondering if it might be a personal question, but I was wondering if that's okay if I do that. As a woman, as a teacher, people use that bludgeon that they're just doing it as their part-time gig, whatever. So they don't pay them as much, especially in Utah. They don't pay them as much because they're just doing it because they need a part-time gig that they can stay home with their kids, whatever. Um, do you feel that that translates into jobs outside of teaching? Do you feel that that is a problem of why we're not paying teachers right now? Is that, or do you not think so?
I don't feel like that at all. I feel as if I am paid generously for what I do, and I have no complaints at all.
Okay, I'm
I
just
really
asking
don't.
because we lose 24. We train 1,200 teachers and we lose 2,400 teachers a year here, and it's a
I
problem.
wonder why that is.
It's just the way our math is. It's just
Mhm.
I
We're
think
not
it's the
seeing
40.
that here. I mean, if we have a job opening, there are thousands of students, thousands of teachers rather, who apply for one position.
I think it might be doing with 40 kids to a class. That might be. Can you imagine 85 minutes of 40 kids to a class?
It's a
And
lot, and I think they need to reevaluate. I mean, I'm not a part of that system, so I can't really speak with any intelligence. But where we are, I feel that it's a very uh, a wonderful place to be. I enjoy being there. I feel as if the pay is a bonus. I'm having fun.
Okay, we
Like,
need to recruit you. We'll bring. So, anyway,
sign me up.
sign you up. Okay, so now we talked about bullying, equity, screen time. How much TV are we watching? Should we be? I mean, we spend time with the screens at school. Should we be having screen time? There was something like 3 hours a day. Kids are watching 3 hours, 4 hours of TV a day. Like two
Hmm.
hours in the morning, they get home. 2 hours, right? Mom and dad gets home, pile out, and then you have screen time at school. How much is overkill? When is a good time to say that's enough? Why don't we go outside and play ball or something?
Well, I think they need it. They desperately need it. I think it was something crazy. I was reading some statistics, they're not even accurate. They haven't been done in several years, but I thought it was something like 45% of the day is spent on a device of some sort, which is starting to affect their eyesight, like with blue light exposure between their cell phones, their iPads, their iPod touches, their TVs, their the computers, their laptops. Like they're completely like the eyesight. Mine's terrible. I'll be honest with you. I wear glasses and I sometimes still can't see, even with my glasses on.
Yeah, I understand that. I just realized something with my camera. Anyway, um, so anyway, yeah, I just really worry about that. But you know, psychologically for students to be able to focus, I'm worried about the constant dopamine hits and the not being able to concentrate. I teach chess sometimes, like on Thursday nights, and I can see the fragmented. I call it fragmented BS. It's fragment. They can't form a plan. They have a hard until you get them like three. I says, put your phones away. We're gonna no clocks, no nothing. We're just gonna try this. And just remember, I'm just gonna kill you and rip out your lungs if you lose. No. But the idea is that we're going towards an objective. Let's kill the king. Doesn't matter any other things. Let's kill the king. What at what point does the as an expert in PhD, right, a doctorate, right? What type of what? How long is too long to be having your kids on devices?
I
If
think
there's
they need breaks after 15 minutes.
breaks after 15 minutes,
Every
how,
15 minutes.
how at what age is too early to introduce them to these flashy
Well,
devices?
you've seen how early little ones are 1 year old and they can navigate a cell phone.
Yeah. So
I
I'm
watched
wondering.
my niece, who's 7 now. She's proficient. We get on the family Zooms and she's putting the filters up and she's doing all this other kind of crazy stuff that none of the adults even know what she's doing. I do because I'm with my students and they show me how to do it. But but overall, the little ones they're just so adept at it only because it's they're digital natives. We're digital immigrants. We came in, anybody that was born after 1984 is considered a digital immigrant, and I was born a lot before 1984. So, but I'm pretty good at it because I learned as I was growing. I started teaching technology in 1996, and I've seen it change drastically from then till now. I watched the inception of the internet. I watched how cell phones became to evolve. And remember the bag phone, in the car, they had this bag and you had to charge it up and it was good for like one call and then it would go again. And the texting with the triple taps for texting. I show the kids that and they're like, what, are you out of your mind? And I tell them about typewriters and how easy they have it now with a word processor and being able to backspace and not have to get another piece of paper and erase it and white out. And I'm going on and on and on. They think I'm off my rocker. But I said, listen, guys, I survived that. And I was in college with a typewriter and I did okay.
Yeah, it really changed my life. With I got a typewriter because I have a little dysgraphia. It's bad handwriting. Anyway, but and then I'd get judged on my handwriting by the teacher saying you can't write that, and I'm going, yes, I did. It's just that you know, so yeah, the implication to me is the the 50 after 15 minutes we cut our kids off, then let them have 2 minute breaks, or how long is that going for?
I
How long?
think they also need to drink while they're there. They have to grab water, get something that's going to keep them hydrated because they get so intense in these games. And Fortnite was a real big one. Now it's Among Us. That's the latest trend.
Yep.
And they're all talking about that. And that's another online thing. So they're not off the computer for that. But I really do think it's important to get them off. maybe 2 to 3 minutes, if not longer, redirect them. And you know what? Sometimes they don't want to go back on the computer after redirecting them.
Wow. So
Maybe take them outside, go for a walk, throw the
as
ball
a mom,
around.
would you put eye drops in your kids' eyes after a while, or is there not? Or you get them
I
special?
wouldn't.
I have special glasses, that's supposed to filter the blue screen out. And my mom said, "You paid $700 for glasses." Yes, but they filter blue screen out. She says, "You don't need that." When I was a kid, just
I
wear
have
them.
my no, I have my blue light glasses too. They've been amazing. I can't get over the difference.
So that's something that you might suggest is getting blue light glasses for
Hmm.
kids. Even if they don't have a vision problem, they could have the blue light and it'll help preserve their
Just a
eyesight.
blocker. Hmm.
Yeah. How now we're getting people ready for eighth grade. How is our job experience from? Can you do a prediction? I know it's hard to do predictions, but you have your kids now in eighth grade. What kind of jobs are we really going to be experiencing for them? Uh, because I feel like there's this musical chair game going on, and the more automated we get, the less kids. We're not going to have the same type of
Hmm.
jobs.
Well, I'd say the kids every day, I'm preparing you for jobs that don't even exist yet.
So that's the job of the educator is to be.
My job didn't exist. I mean, what I'm doing right now, when I was going through school, I would never in a million years would have thought that I would be a technology teacher. We didn't have technology.
Yeah, I
How can I
understand.
tell? I think that surprisingly, I think there are going to be more service jobs available for the students. More and more people are not going into trades. We're losing the plumbers, we're losing the electricians, we're losing the craftsmen, we're losing the carpenters, we're losing people who would like to deliver mail, we're losing people that would like to do health and human service jobs like trash collection and like I don't know, there are so many jobs that I think will continue to be there, but we won't have the people to do them because all my students want to become YouTubers.
Oh yeah,
And I
I
said, you got to have a backup plan or professional athletes.
yes.
I
I
said, you definitely want a backup plan there.
Yeah, just if they think that they're going to be a YouTuber, just try to hold down a radio station for 3 hours a night, stare into the glass, try to talk
Hmm.
to interesting people, try to be interesting, and if you can do that for 3 weeks in a row every night, I
Yeah.
mean, no, I got up from Thanksgiving dinner to go down to the damn radio station because nobody was covering, and
Hmm.
so it's a it, that's just what happens. So the thing is that uh, when you have the everybody likes the gig until they do the gig. Professional athletes.
Well, I think too with like you were saying, as far as tech goes, I talked about the trade jobs, but as far as technology goes, I think the fastest growing profession right now is cybersecurity.
Yes.
And I think that's going to continue to grow because there are a lot of hackers that are rolling around out there who are good at it. And they've gotten to the point where it's thievery.
Yeah, they want to that or we need defense. We need all kinds of things. We're built we're built on rudimentary systems. There are deliberate backdoors built into our PCs by
Hmm.
Microsoft and other people because the United States government said to do it, and we did it, and so we still have those problems, those legacy problems going around. So you think that the job of the educator is not to get them prepared for a job 5 years from now, if you're in eighth grade, is to make them flexible enough so that they can change.
Yeah. And I think that they need to understand that 3/4 of my job all day is troubleshooting and problem solving. So I'm trying to teach them that yes, your monitor is not working. Why isn't it working? Let's try to figure it out. And we'll look at the couple things. Is it on? Number one, is it plugged in? Number two, did
Yep.
somebody accidentally hit the plug underneath your station? Number three, like basic things like that. Did the plug in the back come detached? That happens all the time.
So it's just teaching them to work. How well do you think are the students? Okay, you've been teaching for just a little while. I mean, you are 33 years old. Um, dropped out.
With a
Now you're
31-year-old son and a 23. Yeah. Do
yes.
the math.
That's exactly how that works, right? Just one day, add water, bang, they're done. The so our students. Is there a change in the last 10 years the way the students are acting, or are they just kids all the same time?
No,
And
big change,
what's the change that you can see?
drastic change. I think that they are not allowed to play long enough. They're forced into a preschool at 6 weeks old, and they are not at home as much with the current daycare, which is a phenomenal system, don't get me wrong, but I think that the family unit is disjointed at a younger age. I know my older boy was with me till he was 3, and then I put him into preschool just because he needed interaction. But my younger one was at 6 weeks, and the two of them are night and day.
So so you've had the living experiment and know the
Mhm.
difference in this. So the so what we have to do is figure out a better way to do work. Let people stay home with their kids longer.
Mhm.
Um, that
But
kind of
even if
gets
they
in.
don't, in the environment, the academics are so pushed all the time by the teachers, and we're almost a year ahead of each other. The kindergartners are more like first graders. They're reading in first grade. They're reading in kindergarten instead of first grade. They're learning how to do more difficult handwriting in first grade instead of second grade. They don't really teach cursive anymore, but like cursive is introduced a year earlier if it's introduced at all. But I find that it's a year too soon. I almost feel like work is play and play is work for children. That's why I let them play. Like my eighth graders, when they come in, they can't wait to do the hands-on things. That's why, even though I'm doing it as a motivating factor, yes, you get finished your coding, then you get to build. Do the next unit, then we get to build. And it's a cycle, but it works.
Do you use Legos? Do you use the
We use
regular,
Connects, we use Legos, we use
which is
Strawbees.
Legos robotics, right? That's
We use hand regular ones, and then we use I do have some robots, but that's in the engineering part of my course, which I don't teach. There's another teacher who does the robotics part of the class. It's separated, it's a high school credit, so it's separated into one marking period is engineering, intro to engineering, and the other 2 quarters basically are introduction to web design and coding. So we split the course, but we have the same kids.
so the kids are different. They're being pushed too much in academics. Does this affect their creativity in any way? Is
Well,
there
I mean, not in my
marketable
world. I mean, I encourage creativity at any chance I get,
but you
but
understand what
I
I'm
can't
asking?
speak.
Like,
I can't speak from that to that
let's say
because
you
I'm
had
not
100 kids, and you
academic.
say, are we less creative today than we were 10, 15 years ago? Are we more
I
creative?
think they're pretty creative. They're not afraid to get out of the box. They're encouraged to be creative. They're encouraged to try new things and get out of their comfort zones. So I disagree with that. I think that they are very creative, and I allow them to cultivate their creativity in their apps that they're using. We use Canva a lot for my 7th grade students. We use, like I said, Photopea a lot for my Adobe Photoshop for them. We use the blog, like I had mentioned. Our 8th graders have a self-monitored program that's called Code HS, and it basically tracks them through in a tutorial, and they work at their own pace. And I have all the code because I figured out all the code and I wrote it. So if they get stuck, I tell them it's more about the process than the product. I will help you get through it if you can't figure it out. But don't get stressed out and cry because you can't figure out what 2.5.6's solution is. I have the solution. So please ask me. And that's what we do. And they're much happier that way.
I remember like going through half the book. I got half my homework done because I wrote down half those answers. Now I'm
Yeah.
going to, then because I didn't care, and this and whatever was shortest, so I can go do what I wanted to do. So in a way, you're kind of encouraging that, which is great. How does the workforce going to be? By you can prologue equals performance. We're seeing the kids at 8th grade. Prologue. What are their work? If I was a recruiter and I wanted to get my smartest kids possible to be in my coding factory, to be because they really don't need to go to college to code. I tell them I just need 2 years with somebody. I can teach them to code every day, every day, and they'll hate it, but they'll be able to code after 2 years.
Mhm.
What about you? Is there something that you're seeing? I want to recruit these people. Do I have to provide Game Boys? What pool tables, whatever, lunch, that kind of stuff? Am I making it more like high school, or how do you say that we're 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 recruiting people to be professionals in our coding business? What would you say about
I think a more relaxed environment. We have a couple of really great local places. A Weber is one of them, and they have sliding boards to go from the first, second, well, not the first floor, second floor. That'd be tough. But the second floor to the first floor, they slide down the sliding boards. There are ping pong tables. There's foosball. They have an area with a food court. and they're coding wherever they want. They've got the pull down electricity from the ceiling. They're on carts. They've got desks on wheels. That's now. That's absolutely amazing. And I think that the environment for coders can be really like stifling because it's boring. And I'd say to my students, that you're not going to be really setting the world on fire with your code here, but the environment's going to be good for you and you will enjoy being at work. So if you're enjoying being at work, you will be more productive. That's the way I take it. Now, I might be off my rocker in saying that. I don't know how do you feel about that?
Well, I've seen environments where they just do they made special walls where you can literally take black marker to all the walls. I think
Right.
that anything that you can do to allow people to just sit there with their guitar and think about better ways to do things, because some people just want to be like game coders, and you're like, no, you don't. You think you want to be a game designer, but you definitely don't want to be a game coder, because game coder is very repetitive all the time. You know, you're just some. It's like being an actor. I want to be in movies. Well, what you really want to be probably is a director or somebody who's a writer or something. You don't want to be the actor, somebody's meat puppet. You know, I think that
Mhm.
that is something that's important. Anyway, I really appreciate taking this time with you. I know I'm going to get like 100 clips out of this. We we have this special paper that she had for us. It's Karen Fiorillo. Why don't you spell your name out for us a little bit?
Okay,
Uh,
it's Karen Fiorillo, Fiorillo.
at Comcast.net.
Yes.
She's also on Facebook, Karen Santillo. I thought that was fun. That it was Matt. It was rhyming. It's like she's going to be a Catholic girl, Italian Catholic girl, going to marry a nice Italian Catholic man. Something. Karen Santillo.
Santillo Fiorillo. That's why I do not hyphenate.
and then and then you could get is it my Mona Matt? Oh,
So
what
it's Karen Fiorillo dot mymonate, MONAT.com. And that is the hair care, skincare, wellness products.
right, and it's
And
K
then
for
my Corona aerobics is where you'll find me on Facebook. That's public. If you ever want to join me, I get between 300 and 600 visits a night. And I don't know whether they're doing my video or giggling with me, but we have a lot of fun.
yes, and then on Insta, well, that's Instagram for some people who don't know when I say Insta.
Ooh,
That's
Insta.
K Furillo at 818.
Yes, that's my
Uh,
birthday. K Fiorillo 818 is Insta, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
okay, and then I don't know if I should give out your phone number. You can make the decision on that. Because then they'll blow up your phone, and that's horrible. Sometimes I know because I've had my
I'm
phone.
actually, it's easier for someone to reach me the other ways because everything goes to my phone anyway.
Oh, so
Everything
just
pings to my phone.
yeah, and for small businesses, I often suggest that they have like multiple streams of things that they can get you with. So 3 to 700. What is it? 3 to 600 people.
300 to 600 people are visiting my Facebook workouts every night.
Is that paid? Do you get that in Patreon in some way?
Is it what?
Is it Patreon? Do you have a Patreon? Does this go to your Patreon? Is there like support if the people want to support you in that way?
I do it
Um,
for free.
okay, so this is all free. So I was thinking, well, she's a school teacher. We've got to get her some money somehow. So anyway, but yeah, and then you have a YouTube site or is not?
Yes. Hey, Fiorillo 818, same thing. I do that for everything.
Okay, so it goes to so you can see her on YouTube and everything. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun. We're just going to go out with the music here. This is your favorite host, Michael Tanner, with Dice Media Group, talking to the people that you really want to talk to, listening to people that we want to listen to you. So hit us on the inner Twitterverse at dicemediagroup.com and Dice Media Group YouTube and we'll see Furillo, Miss
Fiorillo, come on.
Fiorillo. It's the thing here. It says Karen Stilito Fiorillo, right? The real actual Karen, not the other meaning. But anyway, her internet, and you can learn a lot of good internet tips and social media how to grow your small business with Karen. Doctor. Remember, she went to all those schools not to be called master.
It's all
Anyway,
good.
so she's got her master's, she's got her doctorate. Anyway, we'll see you real soon. Have a great night, everybody. We'll just
Thanks,
hold
Mike.
the we're out for about 15 seconds. And we go.
shell.